What's up, everybody? Thanks again for stopping by for another edition of March 4th with Mike Bauman. I, of course, am your host, Mike Bauman. Whoever you are, wherever you are listening from, thank you so much for checking out the podcast. If you're a returning listener, I greatly appreciate your continued love and support. And if you're a brand new listener of the show, man, thank you so much for hopping aboard that pirate ship. You can follow me on Instagram at March 4th Pod. I am also on YouTube and TikTok at March 4th Pod. The link tree with all of my stuff is in the podcast description for this episode. So that means if you made it here, then you found me somehow. And I truly appreciate each and every one of you taking the time to check out another edition of the March 4th with Mike Bauman podcast. How is everybody doing out there? I hope that life finds you well as this is hitting your eardrums on whatever streaming platform you use for your podcasts. I myself am really looking forward to some time off, getting a chance to catch up on some rest and relaxation with the fam and friends back home in the Midwest, man. Whatever you celebrate, wherever you're from, I just hope that you get a chance to hug and laugh with your loved ones this holiday season and spend time with the people you care about. That's what it's all about at the end of the day. It's about human connection and creating positive ripple effects in whatever waters you swim in, man. So that's what I'm trying to do with this show. That's what I try to do with the people in my life, no matter how long they're in it. And but I'm really excited to get home and see family and see friends that I don't get a chance to see that much, just because your boy works, man, and you only get so much PTO in the corporate world. So I got a good job. I got a really good day job, working on a really good team. But it's nice to get away from it too. You know what I mean? You can only look at spreadsheets and computer screens so long before you start going nuts. But in all seriousness, man, it's always great to see family and friends. So I hope you guys get to do that. I hope you eat some foods, share some laughs, and just have a good time, man. That's what it's all about. And speaking of having a good time and connecting with people and sharing laughs and good conversation, this week's guest is a return guest to the podcast. It's always nice when people want to come back. These guys are fellow Midwesterners, so anytime I can put on for people from the Midwest like me, it is always a pleasure. These guys are none other than After Our Animals. They are out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And if you like rock and metalcore, you'll love these guys if you're not familiar. We first got in touch back in 2023, a little over 2 years ago, got a chance to get the boys on the show. And it was a great time. There was a kinship immediately. Just, anytime I hear that Midwest accent, man, like we're very nasally. We put Y's before our A's, backhead. And so there's just kind of a kinship there, man. And we were kind of geeking out, I think, even before we hit record. And it was a fun conversation. It was awesome listening to their catalog, getting ready for that one. And then I actually got a chance to meet them in person when they were on tour and they came through Tennessee, a little outside of Nashville. They had a show in Murfreesboro. And I felt like, I can gab, I've got the gift of gab. I can chat with the best of them. You know what I mean? And I felt like I was chewing their ears off a little bit. Sometimes I get a little bit like Chris Farley on SNL with the Chris Farley show. Hey, you remember when? And then you can just see it in people's eyes. And I'm like, Mike, you need to shut your big yapper. That's my inner monologue. It's just Matt Foley, just going, walk away, young fella. But anywho, I really enjoyed the first time they were on. And, like a lot of bands, these guys have gone through some lineup changes over the years and since the last time we talked. But these guys have been hard at work on new music, and it's been cool from a distance to see the singles that they've rolled out leading up to the release of their new EP, Total Disconnect, which just came out back on October 10th. So as it's hitting y'all's eardrums, it's only a little over a month old, man, and I really love it. Human Parasite, Bad Dreams, Exoskeleton, Altered, Total Disconnect, and even the singles that they were releasing in 2024, leading up to this new music that they've put out this year, man. It's been really cool to see the direction that they've headed in, kind of a darker, more ethereal vibe. And if you're not familiar with After Our Animals, these guys have really been hard at work, man. Not just in recent years, but since their inception. They've really built a name for themselves in Milwaukee. Have played awesome live shows. They've toured. Like I said, I got a chance to see them in Tennessee a couple of years ago. And I just have Spotify, but I mean, on Spotify alone, they've got numerous singles that are, several 100,000 streams. All it takes, their 2020 single is over 1.1 million streams on Spotify alone. So for an independent band, man, these guys really, really bust their butts, man. And you'll hear about that on this conversation, just in terms of their DIY attitude, their music production, producing things themselves, producing their music videos and making their music videos and their visuals on their own. And we talk a lot about that on this conversation, not only the direction that they've headed in musically, and a little tease on the new music that's going to be coming next year's, but really that DIY attitude and what it's like to be an independent band out here making a name for yourself, and basically having to be your own marketing team in a lot of ways. But again, through their awesome live shows, through these new singles, like it's really cool to catch up with them and get Billy and Nick on the show and talk about the direction they're headed in and all the stuff that they've been working on. So without further ado, I am going to shut my big yapper and give you guys my conversation with Billy and Nick from After Our Animals. Here it is. Alrighty, there we go. Well, dudes, thank you so much again for coming back on the show. It's always nice when people want to return to the pod, and love the new EP. And I know there's been some changes since the last time we talked, but really digging the new tunes and in this direction of After Our Animals. So thanks for joining me, fellas.
Yeah, of course. No, it's great to see you again.
Nice to be here.
So just for the people who are listening to this, why don't you tell them your names and what you play in the band, and then that way when you're speaking, they know who's talking.
Okay, that sounds like a good idea. My name's Nick, and I sing in the band. I sing in After Our Animals.
I go by Billy, and I'm a guitar player, and I also do some singing, and
Just a little bit.
just enough. But we pretty much produce all the songs together, so we write them that way.
Hell yeah, man. So what has it been like? Obviously, in this age that we're living with music now, a lot of the direction, I feel like, especially since COVID, has been using singles to build up a release, and doing clips and shorts and reels. It's bands are content creators now as much as they are musicians. But for this direction that you guys have headed in, man, I've really enjoyed it. As you guys have rolled these songs out, culminating to the release of the Total Disconnect EP, which I believe came out just right about a month ago, as we're talking, October 10th. What's it been like over sort of this last year and a half, 2 years since the last time I saw y'all, man?
Oh, do you want to go?
Yeah. Well, I'm the newest member. I joined, maybe it's probably almost 3 years now. But we've both been doing music for so long, and the way that it shifted into being a content creator over a musician, it can be frustrating, but we had to learn to adapt. So I bought a high quality camera, and I got good at editing. And when you're in an independent band and you don't have financial backing either, the more DIY you can do, the better. So instead of us paying $1,000 to record and have a song mixed, and then another $1,500 to have a music video, I pretty much just learned how to do everything myself until we brought it to an acceptable level of quality, which I think we've done pretty good over the last couple of years on, upping that game. But obviously our music has changed a bit too from like where Nick started the band. It's different, it's not as youthful, I guess. It's not like as party centric, I guess, the genre.
Times have changed.
Yeah, we slowed down a little bit in that. I mean, I joined the band because I really liked that music, and I've known Nick forever too. But yeah, the Total Disconnect EP is definitely a darker kind of feel. And we got some ideas to kind of continue it into something else too.
Yeah, we've already got a number of songs written actually for another EP. It's just the issue of like you were saying about like the content creation and everything being so chronically online. It's almost like nowadays it doesn't even make sense to like book and tour and play shows even locally because no one's going to pay you enough. All this is going to be like this. And it's like, of course, you're going to do it for the love of the game and you like to do it, but you've got to treat the band as a business as well. And the issue now is instead of just like trying to put out as much music as possible, it's like making sure you have enough content to go with it, which is a pain in the ass, but it's definitely something you have to do.
Yeah, and for you guys, I mean, the quality is awesome. Like I really enjoyed watching the music videos. Like Human Parasite was sick. The lighting in that video was really dope. Can you guys kind of talk about how you come up with these visuals when you do the music videos and how you come up with the concept of maybe putting it with the song? Because that one in particular I really liked.
Yeah, obviously there's limitations. We dream of having these big eccentric music video ideas, and then we start talking about, well, it would be cool to do this and have all these sequences, but then we kind of come back down to reality and we take those grand ideas and put it into something we can actually accomplish. So I'll start looking around for certain venues, or I'll use sites like Gigster, and I'll find like a location where, I like the aesthetic of this, and I'll even like look at the aspect of like, is this window facing a certain direction? Because what I've learned, like from filming music videos, is the best thing you can do is wait for the right time for natural lighting.
And that was the thing with that with the Human Parasite video
Yeah.
was the natural lighting at the perfect time of day. It was in like
Yep.
some little old church, and it just had this big like, like kind of like stained glass window that already tinted the light a little bit. And then when the light was coming in, we just posted up right in front of that and we're like, okay, we got 2 hours, let's go, let's get as much done as we can.
Yeah.
And we ended up getting a lot done, and I think it turned out all right. But what was funny about that too, I don't know, you want me to tell the hair story?
What hair story?
The hair that was on the lens.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So we shot all those shots, and there was a hair on the lens that we didn't notice. And then but then we ended up being able to get rid of it, like using like, what did Joe use, like
we had to
Paint to
use
get rid of it?
we had to use After Effects and literally do almost every frame and take the hair out of there. And I learned that lesson. Now I have a little blower thing. I clean because I got cats. So it got in my actual camera and it was on, and it wasn't that big of a deal, but the video stuff is tricky. It's definitely a learning process, and when you pay for a slot in a location like that, you have to make sure that you get the right shots, because you can't really go back unless you want to spend more money and drive and book it again and all that. So you have to get as much as you can within the time window and really just have a good idea of how to frame the shot. And I filmed everything with a tripod on that one. So I don't have any, I mean, sometimes my girlfriend will come and help us film, but pretty much what I've been doing is setting up a tripod and then adding movement in post, like with zooms and stuff like that.
That's sick though, because I mean, watching that video, I mean, it's I think that's inspiring for any bands trying to do DIY because it's very professionally done. Same thing with the exoskeleton one where it kind of has like that darker room setting and like the top down lighting. The vibes on both of those videos were really cool. Did you guys do that one yourselves too?
Yeah, we did. And the exoskeleton one. So everything since what? Since Black Hole, we've done
Yeah.
ourselves.
Black Hole was the last one we paid to do, and it's not that we don't like working with other people, it's just that it's expensive.
Yeah, and like
That video was awesome. Our buddy Eddie, he films videos for a lot of pretty big bands.
yeah, and
And
he always does a good job. And the thing
it's his
is,
company called Enterprise.
Enterprise, yeah.
And he does really good stuff, but it's just it adds up after a while. And the Black Hole video, that location alone was $800 to rent. So like that, and we had Joel Wanasek mix that song, which the mix is also awesome too, and I love Joel, but we just can't afford to continue to dish out money as an independent band when we're not getting a ton of returns back. So that's kind of why we ended up doing this DIY thing, and it works for us, and we just got to make sure that we plan feasible ways to make the videos.
Yeah, with the exoskeleton music video, we just had our drummer's giant warehouse, and we hung one light up, which we struggled our asses to get get the cord over. We're like on a big ladder and
Yeah,
like
it's like
almost
at least like 20 feet.
Yeah, and then we had the light just dangle, and then we wrapped cardboard around it, and then we turned off all the lights, and it was just above me, and like we did it
Well,
for every other thing.
it was 100 degrees outside,
Oh yeah,
and it was
actually
hotter in there. So Nick was walking around with his shirt off. And once I got him into frame, I'm like, dude, you look like super jacked. Like you look like a WWE wrestler or something. And I'm like,
and that's a childhood dream.
just keep the shirt off. So I'm like, we're going shirtless for this video for you, and it looks sick. And I mean, I thought it looked badass.
I can't imagine how hot it would be in a warehouse if it was 100 degrees outside.
Dude, let me tell you, I'm remembering it's all flooding back into my mind. It was hell. It was like I had these big black like cargo like jeans on, like with like chains and boots, and I could feel I feel like I could drink like an entire like gallon of water and it would just flood out every pore of my body immediately.
Well, both of them turned out awesome. And again, I think that's inspiring for any bands who are going to listen to this who are like, hey, how do we professionally shoot? And even doing this as like a podcaster, doing it all myself. You figure out ways to make it work and to have equipment that sounds good, but also if you do photos, like you go, okay, like these smartphones have really good cameras on them. Like, what are some tips and tricks, with portrait mode or whatever, if I'm trying to have, photos that look good for the pod or whatever. So yeah, I think that's cool that you guys have embraced that. And musically, I really dig the direction, man. Again, Human Parasite, Bad Dreams has that really awesome like soaring chorus in that one. That was sick. Um, Exoskeleton and Altered both kind of have those darker vibes as well. And then Total Disconnect to close it out as like sort of like a slow, I don't want to say ballad, but just like that one has a slow build to it. And I thought it was really cool the way that you guys structured it. Where were you guys coming from inspiration wise, lyrically and musically for the direction of this one? Because it turned out really, really sick.
Thank you. I mean, Carl, you want to take that one because you did a lot of the instrumentals on that stuff.
Yeah, so lyrically, a lot of our stuff kind of uh it turns out to be sort of a dystopian thing. It's kind of ominous. Like obviously Human Parasite is more about like this, you know, I guess this group of people see most humans as like cattle, for example. Like we're the parasites and we're bad. Like it's kind of that vibe, which is totally different from what After Our Animals used to be. But like we both like that kind of music, and that's why we like chose to do a darker thing. I guess it was a little self-serving to kind of go away from like what the band started as, but this is the kind of music that we like, so that's why we put it out, because Nick listens to super heavy music most of the time.
Yeah, I feel like most of the time I'm not listening to things. Well, it's kind of a lie. I mean, it depends. I'm bouncing all over the place, but a lot of times when I'm listening, if I'm going to say metal music, it's like just really heavy and there's no singing even in it.
Yeah, which this stuff is more like kind of rock focused. There's less screaming vocals and all that, but we use it sparingly, and we feel like the breakdowns in the EP are pretty heavy still. It's just different. And lyrically, Total Disconnect is more just kind of like, I mean, it's pretty emo, I guess you could say, like lyrically, right?
Yeah,
But
I would say that one was a fun one to write too, because we really went back and forth with trying to make. I feel like a lot of times too, the lyrics we're trying to write aren't like it's not necessarily portraying anything specifically,
yeah.
but it's really focusing on trying to use words that sound nice and mean what we're trying to say, but like do it in a more creative manner and make it sound like it's almost like rather than just saying the first thing that comes to mind, you go like, okay, how can you say this better? It's like taking your first draft and going through it and using words that are more, they paint a bigger picture, a broader picture that like can be other people can take the song for whatever they want to. And I think when writing music like that, I feel like it serves a bigger purpose than just writing a song to talk about a feeling you had one day. Not saying there's anything wrong with that, like we still do it, but it's nice to be able to do something that's a little bit more vague and ominous so people can take away whatever it is they want from the lyrics.
Yeah, that's a really good representation. Like exoskeleton, for example, too. Like you could take exoskeleton in a relationship, a friendship, even your boss, like whatever you want it to mean. But like we kind of wrote it from like subconsciously. I think it was like past relationships that we've had and like the toxicity of it. That's sort of what exoskeleton is about. Like it's like shed your exoskeleton and take your medicine. Like you're dealing with like a person that has like mental issues, sort of. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I really enjoyed the vibe and how it flowed and like you were talking about, Nick, sort of that abstract songwriting. I think that's cool because I think I've even heard Chino from Deftones say over the years that like his lyrics are like really open to interpretation. Like he tries not to be like super specific. And I think that's cool for listeners because like you said, whether if you sit down, obviously there's been a lot of awesome songs that have been written about like heartbreak or loss or death or rebirth that are very specific and are awesome. But I also think sometimes when you can use the music itself and the lyrics to convey a feeling, and like you said, Billy, like if it's ominous, if it's darker, that definitely came through um, on this EP. So yeah, I really dug it, and even I think some of the videos that you guys have put out, you've let people know like, hey, if you're fans of like whether it's Bad Omens or Sleep Token, Deftones, these will probably be in your wheelhouse.
Yeah, it's a major part of the online content creation. You have to like constantly push and try to show it to someone, even though it'd be better off just being like, oh, here's my music, we're super unique and cool, and we're like this new band, you've never heard of anyone like us. Yeah, right. There are bands that sound that we're trying to even emulate, whether it be subconsciously or like actually consciously being like, okay, we like this, let's do this. You got to just be very transparent and post because you want people who like the same bands you like, ones you look up to listen to you, because you'd think that people get sick of like similar sounding bands because they're like, they sound like this, they sound like this, but there's something unique about each one that makes them them. Even if they sound a lot like this one band, there's something they do different because it's bound to shine through because we're all musicians at the end of the day writing music. Whether it sounds like this person or this person, it's still going to sound like you're not directly copying someone.
Yeah, that's the hard thing about being a content creator and being in a band is because everybody that's in a band, especially in our genre, wants to have this mysterious cool guy thing. And when you're a content creator, it's impossible to do unless you have a record label or some kind of investor dumping 100 grand into meta ads and just pushing your music video clips. If you want to have people reach out to your band or get interested in you as an independent artist, you have to show people who you actually are as a person. I think,
Which is hard.
it's difficult because everybody I know and how I've always viewed it is, oh, we'll just make it cool and people will like us, and that's part of it. But you have to show humanity and relatability.
100%. Like even on this end of it as a podcast, you're like playing around with promoted posts and stuff. And again, I'm DIY just like you guys doing it myself. And it's like, depending on the band, I'll try to pull in genres or other bands that are in that wheelhouse because I'm like, well, if they like that they'll probably like this. And yeah, and it's crazy people's attention span sometimes too. Like you'll look at some of the stats and it'll be like they watch the first eight
Tell us
seconds.
about it.
And I'm like, wow, for 8 seconds, I guess I got an 8 second face then, I guess, like this this is cool for less than 10 seconds. But yeah, that's kind of the interesting part of it. But I like about what you guys do too is you still have fun with some of the shorts and stuff that you do. Like you had the one recently where it's like kicking around like the Amazon package and stuff. Like, you know what I mean? Like I think at the end of the day, I think that kind of authenticity where you still show like a sense of humor. Like I always think about a band like Kill Switch Engage. Like Adam D is one of the biggest goofballs in metalcore, but musically that dude's a freaking beast. And as a producer, he's a beast. And I think at the end of the day, people like to see kind of that lighthearted side, even if the music is heavier too.
Oh, 100%. And like, I really feel like it's funny because like they take longer to do, like when you do skits, like even if it's something like we're just like a bunch of dumbasses running around town being like, where can we get a vest for Amazon that looks like we're driving cars? And we go to Walmart and I ask some lady and she's just like, the hell you need that for, you weirdo? Aren't you like 30? I'm like, I'm 31 actually, but I need a construction helmet and I need a vest to do a skit for TikTok because, I'll never grow up.
Dealing with algorithms and Instagram and TikTok, we just throw anything at the wall and see what sticks because we see other people having success with it. And then I look at our analytics and I'm trying to decipher what's going on here. And like you were saying, most viewers swipe past this video in 3 seconds or 2 seconds is the majority of them for TikTok. And Instagram will post a video and it's like, oh, you lost 2 followers.
That's
So
my favorite.
I think the huge part of it too is that this band has changed so much. And a lot of those people that did follow the band before, they're kind of looking for this specific thing when they see a video from us, and we're totally different now. So that's fine with me if they don't want to follow anymore. I'm trying to reach that newer audience, So we just have to keep grinding and staying consistent. It's difficult.
Well, and at the end of the day too, it's like that's the one thing that keeps, I think, almost anyone continuing to do like whatever creative artistic passion they have is that one day it could work. There could be this one song that you put out that's undeniable, or there's this. And people say, like, you've had people who tell you, like, give up or don't do stuff. I'm not saying necessarily we hear that, but I'm just, it's portrayed in media like, oh, you're never going to make it, kid. But it's like the hanging on to that shred of hope and that thing, it's like part of the reason you get up in the morning. You got to have those unrealistic things that you keep striving for, because otherwise why? Like why keep going and doing stuff? You got to have that hope that something in the future is going to get, I don't know, not even necessarily better, just like different.
For sure, 100%. And I think enjoying the process and like there was a really good quote. I'm gonna try not to butcher it and paraphrase it from Denzel, who's just like a dude that I just like. I look at that, I'm like, that's a dude right there. That's like a real dude. He's really good at
Mhm.
what he does. He's secure in who he is, and he was speaking to a group of, I don't know if it was like theater kids, and I think he might have also done it at a graduation speech, and he was basically just like, and whether or not people believe in God, I hope they can relate to this quote. But he was basically just like, if there's something that you love to do that you didn't ask for, like you were just drawn to it, whatever it is, he was like, that's proof positive, like from God, like that's a direction you're supposed to go in. It's already been implanted in you. And so, like, again, whether you believe in God, the universe, whatever, atheist, it really doesn't matter. Like, I think whatever you're naturally drawn to and pulled towards, especially something as powerful for music, like for dudes like you who make music and dudes like me who love music, like when we hear a good song, we're like, oh damn, like wait a second, like play that over. Like, I'm sure there's songs for you guys where it's like you love the whole song, but the beginning is so sick, you're like, I'm gonna restart this like 8 times. Like, I remember the first time I heard like Psychosocial, um, like Here to Stay from Corn, which is one of my favorite riffs ever. Like, I'll start over the beginning of Here to Stay just to hear that boom, boom, ba da 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 da. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think having things to look forward to and enjoying the journey without focusing so much of like, all right, when's Z gonna come? Like, I'm at A, or maybe I'm at H or J or K. Like, you really got to enjoy the process, because then otherwise it starts to feel like work. And so, and you never know, like you said, Nick, when maybe there's gonna be a video that pops, maybe there's gonna be a song that pops. Um, and either way, along the way, I think as long as you put everything into whatever it is that you do that you love, then there is no failure. The only failure is if you quit, or you stop doing it, or you listen to the naysayers who, maybe try to get you to go a more practical route. Like, so anyway, that was kind of a stream of consciousness and a rant, but yeah, you
No,
got to do.
man, I agree. I love that.
Yeah, you gotta do what you love, man. And again, like the direction that you guys are in, I really dig because I've always been into like darker, heavier music. That was always like I always tell people because there's been people along the way who are like it's funny how with like metal and maybe you guys get some of this too as guys making music, people kind of associate heavier music with like a look or a vibe. And sometimes there can be, like you were saying, Billy, sometimes there is like an intentional, like darker, more mysterious, brooding kind of, and so like over the years I've met people who are like, wow, you listen to that? And I'm like, well, what is it supposed to look like? Like there's all kinds of people who listen to metal music, but I have always explained it to people like for me, darker, heavier music is like a positive release of negative emotion. Like instead of going out and getting, you know, you know, drunk and getting in fights or whatever, or being a verbally or emotionally abusive person, like I'll come home from work if I have a tough day at work and I'll exercise and I'll listen to just heavy, gnarly music or you know what I mean? Like it so that's what it elicits for me as you guys who have been making music as long as you have with the different influences that you have, like how has like the darker music maybe helped you guys express yourselves as creators?
Well, for me, I mean, I come from like way heavier roots. Musically, I mean, traditionally, I was a deathcore guy, and I love deathcore. Like making deathcore, but it's a very niche genre. And going into this band, I mean, after I was always had heavy breakdowns and stuff, but you get a lot of like you get a lot of people that either it's got to be super heavy or if it has any clean singing, then I'm not a fan of it. And that's kind of waned over the years a little bit, and people are starting to mix genres a lot more, where you get bands like Spirit Box and Sleep Token and all that. Metal is it's very clicky. I love some very heavy music, and like you were saying, the emotional release aspect of it is like being a deathcore vocalist on stage. It's a powerful feeling because you're commanding this whole room and you're letting out all this rage, and we've got some parts like that are pretty heavy too, and it's with what we're trying to do, we're kind of trying to weave this narrow area of, we want people that don't really like that stuff as much, but we also want people that like the heavy stuff, and we got to try to kind of mix it, between two genres. And he started screaming a little bit, which is, I think, is pretty
A
cool.
little bit. It's hard.
But yeah, I mean, I do a little bit as well,
But yeah, I think too, there's also something to be said about like not it just being like an aggression release. It's just I feel like within like especially like for instance like Dayseeker's new album, Creature in the Black Night, that it's so like it's got heavy parts, but I feel like it's so well done like on an artistic level. Like it's beautiful. Like the melodies, the lyrics, it's just like it paints such a like it's so much more than just a song. You listen to it and you're just like, oh my gosh, like everything is there. And, people don't expect that type of music when they're like, oh, yeah, they listen, back like when people used to be like, oh, you listen to Screamo? It's like, yeah, but like, dude, like, come on. I remember when I was in high school, I would get so mad. I'm like, it's good music. I'm telling you, don't call my band stupid. Like, this is so cool. But it's like, I can't, I beg, so you put on that Dayseeker album and then like I beg someone to like listen to it and be like, oh well, it's whatever. I feel like it's like if you're talking about like music that portrays emotion, it's like listen to bands like that and stuff, and it's like you hear it in the screams, but you also just hear it in the singing, like the melodies and just the guitars and the correct chords they pick to follow with the melodies that they're singing. It's just an art form, and it's just I don't know. It's just kind of like I don't even know how to explain it. Just feels real good to listen to.
that kind of stuff is becoming way more mainstream now.
Oh yeah,
I think.
100%.
Yeah, and the bigger bands in the genre like Bad Omens and Sleep Token and Spirit Box and all those bands are bringing more people that wouldn't be interested in metal, they're bringing them, around.
100%. And it's a super good thing to see. Everybody's finally coming around.
No, I'm with you. Yeah, there's a lot of really Dayseeker, I feel like does a really good job with like atmosphere. Like when you listen
Oh
to it,
yeah.
kind of like like you said, it kind of takes you somewhere. And even Deftones, like it's wild to see and cool to see that a band that's been around for like almost 40 years has like this younger audience that is going to their shows now too. And I think that's one of the cool things about social media. And I think maybe TikTok in particular. I'm pretty new to TikTok, but bands like Super Heaven that have seen like, this wave, like, songs that catch on and but I think creating atmosphere is sick and I think it is a really healthy time for heavy music because you have bands that do that. And then Billy, like you were talking heavier bands, a band that I came across recently who I think is sick. Free shout out, Dying Wish. I don't know if you've listened to any
Oh,
of
dude.
what she can do with her voice and what they do musically, like to have a song like Paved in Sorrow, where it's just like this incredibly sad, but like still like super heavy. That new record that they have is awesome. So I think it's cool how in metal right now and heavier music you have, like you said, the Dayseekers and Spirit Box and Sleep Token, and but then you have bands like that who are still doing like cool, gnarly, deathcore, metalcore type stuff.
Yeah, and I guess new metal was like that too, but I mean that was a 20-year ago cycle now. Like Korn and Limp Bizkit and all those bands were doing that, but it kind of went out of style and became corny for people. But now that heavy stuff is coming back, and I mean, you see those bands, they're selling out stadiums still.
Yeah, it's funny that you say the recycling of stuff. It's like now everybody dresses like it's 2010 again or 2005 or like it is like, and back when Stranger Things was a huge thing, everybody was like, dude, is fuck, dude. And like then it was the 90s, I think, for like a year, and then now it's like early 2000s, and it all just is gonna recycle itself and it's gonna keep doing that. That's what all like every parent has always said something like that. Everything comes back, and my dad's like, "That's why I save all my clothes for you." So, but yeah, no, it's like a very true thing. And like the older you get, the more you notice that trends happen, and then certain things from them stick. And yeah, that is the one thing that I will say is good about social media is it is quick moving, but like once something is happening, and if you do it right, it can move quick for you too. Like it's quick moving, but like it could some people like, and I know I'm kind of switching topics, but not really, but it's like some people could like post one song and then all of a sudden they're touring and they're playing their first show in front of 2,000 people. And, so it can work in your favor. And again, that goes back to the hope thing. It's like all these trends, everything that's doing all this is it's like you got to just try to work with it, still do you, but you just got to hang on to that because then it's like you never know, you know?
It's never been easier and also harder at the same
Yeah, I
time
feel like it's a super accurate statement.
because the industry, as far as what we're trying to do, is extremely saturated. But at the same time, you're getting an opportunity to be in front of people. Like in the 80s, you had to rely on a record executive to take a chance on you. And now that is off the table completely, and they have no power. And it's all about, can you, with millions of other bands that are putting their videos out and saying, look at me, can you stick out and have a bunch of people listen to your music and like it? And that's where you have to try to figure out how the algorithm works, or image and everything, and how you edit your videos and your songs and the right amount of seconds. And it's very technical stuff, and a lot of people are getting left behind.
Yeah, and I think at the end of the day, right, like it is a very, like you said, man, it's like a very different, and thanks again, you guys, for taking the time. I'm really enjoying the conversation. Like it's a different game now than it was like, in the early 80s, but I think at the end of the day, if the strength is still in the songs, in the music and how it hits people in their chest, because I remember listening to an interview with Eddie Van Halen, and at the time that they were coming up in like, the 70s, like they were doing cover songs and stuff, and they were a rock and roll band at a time when disco was like the top stuff. So he was like, people didn't care about rock and roll. Record companies didn't care about rock and roll. And he was like, we played everywhere. We played backyard shows, we played covers, we did our all of our own flyers. And then I think not long before they broke, I'm sure there's going to be somebody online that's like, "This is not how it happened, dude." Like, okay, but they, I want to say it was like some arena in Anaheim. They basically pretty much like sold out like themselves. Like they got so huge. And even he talked about like how he played the guitar. He was like, I didn't have the money to get pedals for effects, so he's like, I had to figure out how to use my hands to like make a lot of these sounds, and do like that Frankenstein guitar thing. So yeah, I think at the end of the day, it's like you said, it is very saturated in terms of music, in terms of podcasts, and you play around with different targeting if you're doing ads, or and one thing that I still get on myself about is like posting. Like I'm like, man, I need to do probably 3 or 4 shorts for every episode instead of just like one. Like find 3 or 4 different moments and put those out there. But I think at the end of the day, the people who still have that appetite for discovering new music, who really love it, and it's not just like something in the background for them. Like the strength will be in the song. So that's where I think authenticity as an artist, like you can hear it if you really love music. You can hear if somebody's like, oh, they're singing that with their chest, or that riff is like that's really unique the way they play those riffs.
Yeah, and I think too that's like the that's the real painful thing now, taking it to kind of like a negative conversation topic. That's kind of the painful part about seeing all the AI bands that are blowing up on social media. And the worst part about it is like it's good. Like you're like, oh fuck, like that's a good hook. Like you can kind of tell like it's not real, but you're like, damn, that's a good hook. And you're just like, oh, what does that mean for the rest of us? But I still think that there is something to say, like you were saying, about the authenticity that will always keep it there. And I think there's going to be like this point where we learn how to like make AI our friend to help with something and do something, or at least we're gonna have to, because it'll pain me when I see that you're like, oh, this band is AI, but then they have like 3 million streams in a month, and you're like, you're like, what the hell?
I mean, I've seen a lot of people online that are like, don't support AI bands or music, and they're kind of outing it. And like, I could see that if you like a song, you like a song.
Oh yeah.
But all AI is doing, and with that Suno plugin, if you're putting your music into that, I'm convinced that it's taking that and it's using it to write songs for other people in the database. So like, I'm kind of wary about putting my ideas into it, because you can type in a describing word and it'll give you a top 40 rock song like pretty much laid out, and you could just rewrite it in your digital audio workstation and nobody would probably know. And we've messed around with it, but I'm pretty against it, to be honest. And I think as long as you stress the fact that you're still a real human trying to do this, and obviously we're using like a lot of tools that we wouldn't have had 20 years ago too, when I'm mixing and we're recording our stuff. So I guess, I don't know, it's a fine line. I'm not a fan of the AI stuff, and it still can't push out a good mix either, in my opinion. It can do it pretty good, but you listen to an AI mix and then you go listen to Architects and you tell me what's better.
Oh, 100%. I'm sorry to even bring it up, but you just, what we were talking about made me think about it, and I was just like, oh man, I gotta talk about that for a second.
Yeah.
No, it's good. That's why I love doing podcasts, man. Because I mean, Nick, you've been on the show before. Like, I like to let the conversation flow. I kind of have like skeleton notes, but I like it to be more of a free flowing conversation, instead of more of a Q and A. And nothing against the Q&A stuff. I just, I like to talk, and I like to talk to people. But yeah,
Me too.
the only thing I use AI for the podcast is when I do the captions for like the clips. because I'm
Oh yeah, dude, you got him, man.
Or
I was
Opus clip too. Yeah, that one.
like, oh yeah, like for clipping. Sometimes it gets you good clips, but yeah, for like 100%, like if like for captioning stuff, I'll use like the caption app or something like that. And it's like, dude, if I had to go in there and individually I would lose my mind. I already don't want to post a video. Like I already don't want to put myself out there because I'm shy. But like it's like, dude, don't make me sit there and edit a video for hours and hours and hours for it to get 2 likes, lose 2 followers, and then like whatever. Like, yeah, you got to use it for stuff like that because if you don't, I don't know. That's too much of trying to like stick to the anti-AI
Yeah,
game.
I'm actually releasing everything on tape cassettes now.
Yeah, that's how we got to do it, actually.
That will come back. I have a feeling.
Oh, it's already coming back, dude. People are like, as they want to make things as authentic and old as possible because it's cooler, and then it won't be cool, and then it'll be cool, and then who knows anymore. You can't play that game. It goes back to you have to be authentic and do your own thing.
Yeah, there's people I've seen some bands with like major label support that are putting out they'll do like cassette tapes, like which were huge in the 90s. Like there was a period there where it was like still cassettes and CDs, and then CDs took over. And now I don't even know if anybody like remembers mini discs. Like that had like a real quick moment at like the new millennium where it was like, oh, it's gonna be mini disc. And then that like, I don't know that anybody under 25 would even know. Like, if you said, "Hey, do you know what a mini disc is?" They'd be like, "What? What are you talking about?" Um, but it is cool to see the vinyl coming back. And I know it's expensive to do. Like a buddy of mine, shout out Tropic Bombs. They're the bumper music on the show, and they're sick. Um, and my buddy Ryan loves vinyl, and they did this sick new vinyl for their new record where it's gatefold and it opens up into a unique board game. Like he made like a board
Oh,
game
dude.
go along with the album, and like but the work that went into that, and he's like, yeah, you gotta, just to get an order, you have to order a certain amount. So it's like, you got to generate the interest to be able to justify purchasing it as a band. And I don't think the average listener knows how much of that cost goes into it too, doing merch and physical music.
Yeah, you have to be a huge act to really get any sort of financial backing for that kind of thing, and you have to have people that want to actually purchase it too. That's why the last time I released music with a CD was probably 15 years ago. It's just not feasible anymore.
Yeah,
You know
and
what I mean?
see, and then that goes back to again. I love how we keep going back and forth. Like we're like, oh, social media can be cool. Social media sucks. It's like, dude, that's where it sucks because I feel like at the end of the day, if you're a musician and you're an artist and you like, and it's a weird thing to claim, oh, I'm an artist, but if you like making art you want to do all the little nitty gritty little details like that board game thing. Sick idea. Like, oh my gosh, that would be so much fun to do and come up with. And it's like you wouldn't even care how long it took you to come up with the idea or if it costs money. You're like, we're going to figure it out because this is so cool. But you, in the back of your mind, you do have that saying, that voice being like, no one's going to buy it. You suck. Don't do that. And it's like, but you're like, I really want to do it. Like we've messed around with so many cool like content ideas where it's like short like movie ideas where we'll film them and then we'll have them filmed and we're like, oh, that took so long. We can't keep that up without a loyal audience and fan base who's gonna be like consistently coming back. Because if that was the thing, then yes, let's do all the creative stuff because that's what you want to do. And that is the sad part because you are allowed to do it, but it's like, you have jobs, you have other things you're doing with your life. It's like it's so hard.
Then when it comes to that kind of content creation too, then you start considering, am I confusing the algorithm now? And it doesn't know who to show your videos to, and then all of a sudden your page is getting stuck in 200 view jail on TikTok.
You're worried about confusing the fucking algorithm. It doesn't even exist. It's not real.
Yeah, but it is.
But it is real. So
Dude, if somebody would have told me when I was like 17 years old and struggling through topics in pre-calc my senior year of high school, hey dude, one day the word algorithm is going to be at the center of human existence, and it is going to drive decisions, and it is going to feed your perception of reality. My head would have exploded on the third floor of Central Catholic High School in Toledo, Ohio. It is so crazy how algorithm is like at the center of our existence. But yeah, I think it just goes back to, again, doing what you love to do. That human connection, even though AI does kind of freak me out a little bit, the human connection and like the human element, and you guys know because you guys are a band that has played a ton of live shows. So you have built it from not just like you said, you're doing the content creation because you kind of have to in today's day and age as a band, but you guys have put the proof in the songs and in the live shows that you've done over the years, even in different iterations of the band compared to where you are now. So having that element too and being able to translate the music in a live setting is so huge because like we were talking about 10-15 minutes ago, it's wild to think that seminal bands for new metal like Korn and Limp Bizkit, for a minute there people were like, oh, new metal sucks, and it's like, what are you talking about? Like at one point, like those guys were the biggest bands on the planet, and it's awesome now to see those bands. They're still selling out arenas, they're playing festivals. Why? Because the songs are awesome and they put on killer live shows, and there's very few bands who would, not only who could follow those bands, but who would even want to. Same thing with, like, I always put on for Seven Dust. Like I always tell people, especially like younger, heavier music fans, I'm like, dudes, listen to Seven Dust, because I'm telling you, like, it's probably one of your favorite band's favorite band. Those guys rip. And there's so many elements of what they do that are in a lot of modern music. But yeah, I think the strength is always going to be in the music and just doing what you love to do. And if we get one life to live, that's what you got to do, man. You know what I mean? Not to sound preachy, but you got to, like, today, if I was just doing laundry and watching football, it wouldn't have been as exciting if I wasn't talking to you guys. You know what I mean? Like, because that's any Sunday. I'm doing laundry, watching football, cleaning up the apartment. You know what I mean? Like, that's why I love doing this podcast, is getting to connect with people. So before we wrap it up, fellas, and thanks again, Billy, Nick, for taking the time. You mentioned you guys already kind of have some songs that you've worked on, building off of this direction with Total Disconnect. How excited are you about those? And what is that batch of songs kind of like? Do they kind of stand on their own? Is there kind of like a tie-in? Are you even at that point yet as far as thinking about the next releases?
There is a tie-in, and before I let him talk about it, I had this idea because Total Disconnect is kind of like mentally, like for us, we were kind of getting close to like, why are we doing this at all? And I personally was like, I kind of want to quit music. And so Total Disconnect is kind of like a fuck it, like I'm done with everything kind of mindset. And the sound of the band changed a little bit because we were kind of doing what we wanted to do. And the newer stuff, I've mainly been letting Nick write full ideas. I'm not letting him do it. He's just been doing it.
No, he let me out of the dungeon.
No,
Right
no.
again. He's like, here you
But like
go.
I was way more influencing on Total Disconnect. And the new one for an EP we're going to release is called Reconnect. And we're kind of going to go a little bit back to the more poppy style stuff like we were doing before. And I think it's kind of cool to have like sister EPs.
Yeah, and I think what's going to be fun about this one is like with the mindset of like where I know I want to take things like from a songwriter stance. Like I really want these songs to be able to stand alone. Like I want them to not be cool because of a part. I'm not saying the other songs were like that, but I want them to be like, you could strip this song down to a piano. You could make it country. You could make it into whatever genre you wanted and it's still a good song. That's like my main goal when writing these, especially like melody wise. And then what was I going to say? I kind of like lost my train of thought because I got so excited talking about that. But mainly I think like that's the main thing. Oh yeah, I was going to say, and with the ideas of how we've grown from releasing this past EP, I think that's going to help these songs flourish more so than we did even so in the past. I think it, like, knowing what we did with this and having to grow and kind of like with this EP and with the new songs and with everything that changed, we had to also adjust to content creation and all of this stuff. And with that thought in mind, with this new mindset of how we want to write songs, I think it's going to make the whole process of creating it and putting it out a lot more fun than it was before, where we were like, okay, let's write a cool song. Oh shit, we put it out. Now we got to make content. Now it's like we have that content in mind. We know we got to do this. So we're going to write these songs with in the back of our mind, knowing there needs to be content, coming up with sick ideas to shoot, and all at the same time doing it. Rather than doing one thing and then the other, it's going to be like a cohesive thing. So it's like write the song, create content, put out the content is all going to be just one thing. It's going to like just symbiotically kind of like flow out of us. Hopefully, it'll probably still be a hell of a time and it'll give us, you know, the same problems, whatnot here and there. But I think it'll, knowing what we know, it's like everything you do, like you may think you messed up in the past, you may think you did something wrong, you did this, but as long as you're moving forward and you still have a positive outlook and you think things are going to get better, you have that and you have that desire. I think any mistakes and any things in the past are all just learning experiences to what you're going to do with stuff in the future. So I'm hoping that putting out new songs, it's just gonna keep getting better. And like we said before, it's like you got to keep trying. So, you know, hopefully we can keep trying, but we can give it a even better try this time.
We just continue to get more polished, I think. And with everything in house, like mixing and mastering wise, we record everything. I think my mixes have gotten pretty damn good. And I'm open to,
Good.
if anybody's watching this, I'm open to take on more business. It's Billy Diamond on TikTok or just message the band page.
Hell yeah, dudes. Well, just a couple more things before we wrap it up, and thanks again so much for your time.
Of course.
With the theme of the show, March 4th being, you know, perseverance, moving forward. You know, I saw something recently that like 600,000 men a year kill themselves, which is like 50,000 a month. It's a really terrible thing. For you guys, you know, we already kind of talked about how music is like a catharsis, you know, and I'm not trying to turn you guys into therapists. This is a podcast for entertainment purposes, but um how has music played a role in y'all's mental health, and what are some things that have helped you kind of get through darker days, just as dudes? Because we're often made to feel like, hey, we can't talk about our feelings, or that's like a wussy thing if you do that. Or but again, you see so many men every day, sadly, you know, check themselves out because they feel like they don't have a voice, or they can't express themselves, or they're made to feel less than if they do. So I know that's kind of a heavy term, but just with the theme of the show and just knowing that there might be some people out there who that could grab, is there things that helped you guys get through darker times that you feel like might be somewhat universal or helpful to dudes out there who are struggling?
Yeah, I think every guy has definitely had those thoughts. For me personally, probably doesn't work for everybody, but I think staying busy on a hobby or a task and trying to achieve a high level in whatever that is for me, that's just about enough to keep you occupied and stray away from that kind of thought. So if, you know, if I'm ever feeling like I'm down or I'm not worth anything or whatever, I mean, I sit on my computer, I'll mix a song for 10 hours, or, you know, maybe somebody's into weightlifting or whatever. You just need to find something that you're truly passionate about and focus all of your energy on that. And, you know, even if you had the mindset like I might want to commit suicide or something like that, like, well, then what do you have to lose now? If that's your mindset, then go out and try something that you're too scared to try, or do something that you would normally would never do if you're thinking about doing that anyways. Go out and just try something crazy that you've always wanted to do and try to get good at it.
Yeah, and I would say building off of that, I feel like a lot of it too is I really get in my head a lot, and I feel like that's a huge thing that causes, you know, people to have thoughts like that, you know, because you think you're alone, you're not good enough. You think that what's the point? And you know, you regret things, you're scared of things in the future. So you're focused on always past and future all the time. Like that's just how we're wired. And I think there's something to be said. And this is me talking to myself. It's trying to live in the moment and enjoying your days for what they are and who you're able to spend them with and what you're able to do with your time. Because no matter what you do with your time, as long as you're still here and as long as you're doing something positive for you, that's a good thing to do. You know, if that's staying home and watching TV all day because you couldn't get out of bed, you know, you maybe shouldn't do it every day, but sometimes you need a day like that. And then sometimes you need to just force yourself to get up and go outside and breathe in that air because, you know, people are gonna, you know, say, oh, it doesn't work. But I'm telling you, on days where I felt the lowest, I stepped out of my house and I breathed in just the air and was outside in the sun, and some positive memories and positive thoughts come flooding in, and they kind of reignite that spark that can disappear often, and you need to just do what it is in the moment and make the most of your time. Like right now I'm talking to you. You know, I was nervous to get on and talk. We always are. Like everybody always is to do stuff like that. But doing this made me feel good, you know? And being here with my friend makes me feel good. Like it's a good day. I'm not worried about tomorrow. You know, I'm doing the best. I mean, I'm a little bit worried about tomorrow. I got some stuff going on, but it'll be okay. You know, you got to focus on what you are doing now. And like he said, you know, give it your best and put everything you can into it, because that's really what we're here for. We're here today, you know? And if you have that mindset, you know, like it's also like that same thing, like they say, like in, you know, I don't want to get on this, but like, you know, Alcoholics Anonymous and like Narcotics Anonymous, it's always like you're sober today. Don't worry about tomorrow. And you take it day by day. That's something you can put to everything. You should be taking things day by day because we shouldn't be trying to move so fast. Because I feel like that's a huge thing. We're always trying to move so fast, and that's me included. And, you know, you got to slow things down and really just take your time and live in the moment.
Well, Billy, Nick, I think that's a great place to put a button on it. I really appreciate the kind words and you guys sharing your thoughts on that, because I know it's kind of a heavy way to end it, but at the same time, I think it's a beautiful way to end it, because I really do think it's important to let people know that they're not alone. And I think having an outlet in y'all's case, you know, obviously music is a life force for you guys. It's a life force for me. I think that's true. And like you said, Nick, taking things one day at a time, you know, and trying to be where your feet are, as that old saying goes. And it's a hard thing to do. Like, you know, I'm somebody that can get in my head a lot as well. And over the years, especially, you know, as I've gotten older, it's like you learn how to slow down, you learn how to be grateful for all the experiences that you had, whether they were you know, things that were painful or things that were beautiful. They're all necessary and they're all part of the journey. So I really appreciate you guys sharing that, man. And for anybody listening, you're not alone, man. You're not alone. There's people who love you and want what's best for you, even if it doesn't seem like there's that light right now. You just got to keep going. So I appreciate you, dudes. I want to tell everybody, please go run up the numbers on Total Disconnect. Look forward to reconnect, and I'll put up the links in the podcast description, fellas. But let them know where they can find After Hour Animals out there.
Yeah, hit us up on Spotify, any streaming platform to search After Our Animals, afterouranimals.com. We're on every single social media as well, TikTok, Instagram.
Yeah, and we love you. And thanks for talking, man. I really did have a good time.
Alrighty, dighty, there you have it. That was my conversation with Billy and Nick from After Hour Animals. Make sure you go follow these guys on Instagram at After Hour MKE. The links to all of their stuff will be in the podcast description for this episode. So just scroll down to the bottom of that podcast description, hit those links, and go follow and support my buds and After Hour Animals. If you love rock and metalcore, you will not be disappointed, man. Bands like Bad Omens, Sleep Token, Deftones, Saving Vice, The Failsafe, friends of the show. If you're into bands like that, you'll really enjoy what these guys are putting out. Once again, their new EP, Total Disconnect, is out now wherever you get your musics. So just run up the numbers, stream the songs, go watch the music videos, and run up the views on those as well, man. These guys are awesome. They're hilarious. And I just want to say again to Billy and Nick, I really appreciate you guys taking more than an hour of time with me on that Sunday that we got a chance to talk for this one. It's always great catching up with you guys, and genuinely love the direction the band is headed in, and can't wait to hear the new stuff in 2026. And just the different facets of what you guys can do, whether it's more, party based and energetic, or whether you guys slow it down or go a little bit more darker, more ambient, more ethereal. I really dig it. And it's cool to see both of you dudes showing off the vocals as well, man. So genuinely really enjoy the time. Nothing but love for y'all, man. And I hope that you guys have a wonderful holiday season, with your family and your friends up there in Wisconsin. But once again, I am rooting for the Lions. I can't front on that, fellas. I got to stay loyal to the soil for my team. But other than that, no, for real though, it's always great catching up, and you guys are welcome on the show anytime. Genuinely have a lot of respect for what you're doing, and I'm really, really enjoying the music. So everybody, once again, go listen to the new EP, Total Disconnect, available where you get your music. Go watch their music videos on YouTube, After Hour Animals, After Hour MKE on Instagram if you are on IG. And if you did enjoy this conversation, please do me a solid, like and subscribe to the podcast. And actually, a simple thing that you can do as well, leave comments on this episode for the podcast in general. I know on Apple and Spotify, you can leave a rating and a review for March 4th pod. So, if you put, I really love listening to that dude. He does a good Matt Foley impression. I really love this podcast. Whatever you want to say, man, just, I hope it's nice. I mean, I hope you wouldn't go out of your way and say something nasty. Who the heck are you, huh? But for real, if you did enjoy the show, like and subscribe. That way you don't miss any future episodes. I do treaties a month, balancing it with my day job. And we talk about music. We talk about mental health. This conversation, we talked a lot about what it's like, again, being an independent band, and what it's like doing it yourself, and busting your butt out there to make a name for yourself. And but we talk about a lot of different things on this show, but that's really the meaning behind March 4th, is perseverance and moving forward, whether it's through anxiety, depression, heartbreak, death, making a name for yourself in whatever career you're in, and overcoming the challenges that come your way with that. So if you enjoyed the show, please do those things, man. They go a long way in helping this show get out to more people and ranking higher in the algorithm when people engage with it. So that's what I want. I want to put more people on to dope bands like After Hour Animals. So again, if you love headbanging, if you love good melody, if you love good breakdowns, awesome music, please go follow After Hour Animals. That is going to be a wrap for this week's episode. Once again, you can follow me at March 4th Pod. My link tree is in the podcast description as well. So if you enjoyed what you heard, again, give me a shout, like and subscribe, and tell your mother I said I love her. Huh? But for real though, man, I hope everybody has a happy Thanksgiving. Go Lions, keep the faith, and be kind to one another, and be kind to yourselves. Courtesy of my buds and After Hour Animals, off of their new EP, Total Disconnect. Here is their single, Human Parasite. Peace.
Is this sad to see? accept another kill.